What's up, guys? Mindless again. Wanted to share another video, a little different today. I've been requested to give my opinion on the best flippers, and I was hesitant to do it because, you know, obviously I don't own every knife, and I can't say 100% these are the best flippers. So I decided, enough prodding has happened, enough people have requested it, that I thought, you know what the hell, I'll go for it. So these, it was very difficult actually last night to choose the best flippers because I never thought of it specifically to dial it into just 5 pieces. So with much thought and stress, I was able to come down to these 5. And each one of these has a very unique reason why it's here. But at the end of the day, they're all outstanding flippers. And I want to preface this video with a little disclosure so you kind of know what I'm saying. You know, I have a lot of, for example, the best example would be like a Kickstop type knife. I own a bunch of them, and just like anything that's manufactured by hand, some are better than others. So these are great examples of flippers, and I don't want you to take away anything from this video other than these examples from these makers are the best flippers in my opinion and out of my current collection. Through my years collecting, if I do come across a piece that's extraordinary or really above the rest, or an extra special example from a particular maker or company, I usually try to hold on to those because, again, it's difficult. You know, when you're dealing with handmade, quality, custom goods, some things are better. You can have 2 of exactly the same models, but one may flip better than the other. So I think we should just dive into it, and we'll just go one by one, and we'll go from there. And keep in mind, there's no number 1 and there's no 5th place and 1st place. It's just these are the top 5, in my opinion, out of my collection right now. So I think the best place to start, honestly, would be with kind of the undisputed king of flippers. It's the Q36 from RJ Martin. And this is a weird knife because every Q36 I've handled flips amazing. It just happens that this particular one that I eventually was able to add to my collection is outstanding. And, you know, part of a good flipper also is the sound. This particular one is just amazing. I don't know if it'll catch it on video, but it has a double click. That's that real unique sound that all the RJs, or rather all the Q36 makes. So, Sanmai blade, zirconium bolster, lightning strike carbon handle. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful knife. Great example, and definitely deserves a spot on my list of top flippers. I know it kind of is a cop-out to choose a Q36, but guys, this thing is, it's legit. I mean, you can go back on YouTube and see dozens of videos of people saying this is the best flipper, and it is. It's one of the best, absolutely. Fires hard every time. You really can't misfire it. You can light switch, push button, but it just comes screaming out. And remember, this is a over 4-inch long blade, so it's pretty badass. So that is, first up is the Q36. Next up is a Crux from Lee Williams. This is not a collaboration. This is straight out of the grindhouse in Texas. Great example of it. And if you look at my Instagram, I love carrying this piece. And this is a relatively new acquisition for me. I actually traded a Galloway Lee Williams Mongoose for just a Lee Williams Crux. And I don't know why, I think the blade style of the Crux appealed to me a little bit more, but this thing flips so hard. And keep in mind, this is out of a bunch of Kickstops that I own. This is one that is just next level. It flips so hard, guys. Super smooth. I mean, this is just the highest quality knife. I'm going to do a video of all the Kickstop pieces I have, but this one is just absolutely outstanding. A beautiful, beautiful example, and amazing flipping action. I mean, fires so hard every single time. So that's that's that, guys. This is a good knife. If you ever pick one up, I would definitely recommend it. All the new stuff has like holes in it. This bolstered version really appeals to me. Stone washing on the blade, stone washing on the bolsters, blue anodized liners. It's a liner lock, but the most addictive flipping action. Awesome. All right, next up in my top 5 flippers out of my collection. If you're a regular at my channel, this knife is, you're very familiar with it. This is the John Barker, Lee Williams collaboration Kickstop Hokkaido Dragon Tail. Amazing. So many of you know, if you look back, I have a video, I have a couple of these actually, and I have the Emerald Dragon that came from G7. But when you compare the two side by side, this one just flips better. And I have a feeling it's because it's just broken in, the D10's been bedded in a little bit more. But an amazing flipper. I've said it before, I think I'm going to stick to it. This is actually my favorite knife out of my collection. Probably my favorite knife that I've ever owned. For many reasons, obviously, aesthetically, it's just stupid beautiful. But flipping action-wise, you can't get enough of it. The action is just amazing. Flips so hard. And you can go back and there's a full video just on this piece. These two do not have video, so this is the first time you're seeing it on the channel. But if I'm going to say top 5 flippers, this one has to be included in the group. Just amazing. I really know for a fact this particular piece will stay with me forever. Honestly, I'd be more willing to get rid of the Emerald Dragon than this one, just for the simple fact of the action. This thing is just amazing. Amazing. Okay. Whenever you're talking about flippers, you know, and you mentioned the Q36, oftentimes Shiragorovs are always in there. The action is just unquestionably smooth. And I really lucked out with this. So I own a few Shiros. This is a full custom. I did a complete video just on this. So if you look back, you could see like a 15-20 minute video just specifically on this knife. This particular Shiro, amazing. This is a Seashell 95 full custom Timascus. Amazing. 10V steel, 1 of 9. Very limited run. But flipping wise is just amazing. Fires so hard. Truly. Like, you know it's a good flipper when you carry it or you're sitting at home and you have it on you and you just can't stop. You're flipping the knife to the point where your spouse, your wife is just like kind of gets pissed. These are the knives that do that, you know. These are the knives that continuously get flipped. An absolutely beautiful example from Sergei Shirogorov, and this is one that I won't get rid of too. If I'll get rid of all my Shiros, this one will stay in the collection just because fit and finish is outstanding and the detent is just dialed in. Multi-row bearings, just amazing. It's actually multi-row roller bearing system, and it is outstanding flipping action. So that's that guy right there. And for the 5th spot, it was tough. You know, Guss's SLT technology, I've done a bunch of videos on it. I have a few. I probably have 4 or 5 pieces now that have SLT, but this particular one is special. This is the horsepower model, and there's your SLT tab. Amazing flipping action. Just a great piece. The bearings, everything is super smooth. And the way you flip this is why I added it to this group. You kind of just rest your finger here and just pull straight across, and it flips. You can also do, you know, pull the tab and preload. It fires a little harder, but there's something about just kind of swiping your finger across the bolster, across the frame, and your finger kind of catches that SLT tab. There's a little bit of jimping on it. If you take a look, right on the edge, and oh, I don't know why it's not focusing. And there you go. You can see it. It's just enough to catch your finger, and boom, it fires. And again, if you want to go quicker, just grab that tab, preload it, boom. And to be honest, this is the best SLT flipper that I've ever handled or owned. And I have other ones that are much more ornate. Obviously, if you look back, there's a video full Damascus Airborne, Mokutai Inlay Airborne, Damascus Stampede. The simple plain tie handles just flips so good, you guys. I mean, each one of these knives is so addictive on the flipping action. So those are the 5 that I chose. Each one is beautiful in its own right. Flipping action is amazing. And I'm sure I'm going to get questions about what makes a good flipper. And this is just my opinion, so I just wanted to share with you. What makes a good flipper is, firstly, to me, you'll never misfire. That's the first thing. It's always going to fire. You're never going to half flip any of these knives. They just fire every single time. That's my first criteria that I chose, or I was using to choose these 5. Next is detent strength. The reason that's important is like what I'm carrying today. So in my pocket today, I have not done a video on this piece. This is a JBB Knives, JB Stout collaboration called the Overload. This is version 2. I've actually gone through 3 of these to get to this one. It is a killer flipper, guys. I mean, this thing flips so hard. But the detent strength on a lot of them is so hard, and I'm sure with enough flips it'll break in, that it's almost painful on your finger. And I kind of like that. You know, you'll see that in Mosier's knives and stuff like that. This one should be in this group, but if I am honest with myself and I compare them to the detents, the way they're set up in all 5 of these, this one is just a little strong to be in that. Flipping action is outstanding, no doubt. Sound is there, everything's there, but it's the reason why this isn't in that group. Each one of these, the way the detents are tuned, perfection. Honestly, absolute perfection. The next criteria that I chose to judge which 5 would be in this group is the sound. I think there's something, and I've talked about this almost in my first video months ago, 8 months ago, 6 months, I don't even know, is the sound that the knife makes when you deploy. And I think nothing, you know, carries have it. I was going to put a Peter Carey in here, but the Q36 is the best example. It has this very unique, like, double click, kind of hollow echo that I just love. And you'll kind of hear similarities between all these knives. I mean, the Crux has this very unique click that is so satisfying. So you know when you fire the flipper, you get that like solid breaking of the detent and the lock bar engaging. I think that's an important factor in judging if, for me, this is me guys, not anybody else, but for me, an important factor in judging if it's a good flipper or not. And then the final one, and the most obvious one, is the speed of deployment. I mean, when the blade flies out, you're looking for just a little bit of recoil, and each one of these does that. It just, when it slaps the stop pin, in this case it's hitting the kickstop, when these 2 pieces of metal connect, and you know, a lot of people have asked me about this, so I'll show you. This piece is loose. When the knife opens, this lays down, and that's how the knife is stopped in the lock position, the lock bar engages. So, but anyway, amazing. Truly, truly amazing. Has such speed on deployment, and you cannot, again, misfire. On the Shiros, let me wipe this real quick, gents, sorry. On the Shiro, all Shiros have amazing action, truly, but not all Shiros have the same speed of deployment. This one, for some reason, and I know it's because of the multi-roller bearing system, just fires so hard, guys. It's like probably the most addicting flipper. This is a knife I just carry around and flip constantly at home. I'll use it for food prep, and it's just beautiful. It's just gorgeous to me. But again, we're talking about flippers. This one definitely has got it. Amazing. And lastly, obviously the horsepower. This one is, it's a relatively small knife compared to all the other ones, but I don't know why. It might be the blade stock is quite thick up here, but the way it flips, super, super smooth. And it has those factors. You can't misfire it. Speed of deployment is there. The sound is there. It's just all around package, and Guss knocked a home run out here. You know, each maker, there are variances, like I said earlier in the video, between each. You could have the exact same knife. I mean, again, back to the example of this Kickstop Hokkaido. I have two, and to handle both, you know, when I ask people to flip both, or buddies of mine are playing with them, inevitably they're like, man, this one is just extraordinarily smooth. And the sound is just amazing. And I've been flipping the green one, the Emerald Dragon, constantly trying to break it in, and I'm noticing that it's beginning to, not smoothen up because it's already very smooth, but it's beginning to fire a little quicker. The detent is, I think, kind of bedding down, and the track in the blade is smoothing out. But I don't know. This one's special, guys. This, to me, is, you know, if I had to say what is the best flipper in my collection, probably I would go with this Kickstop Hokkaido. So, just keep in mind, again, this is just my opinion. By no means am I saying, you know, these are the best ever. You should get these if you're looking for flippers. I'm just saying, out of my collection and of the literally hundreds of knives that have gone through my collection, these 5 have stood apart from the rest as really, really top level. And, you know, the one that's just always there and everybody's is the Q36. It truly represents an amazing flipper, and if you're into flippers, I really recommend getting one of these. And the price-wise, I mean, this is all fancy schmancy with the Sanmai, but you can just get a plain Q36 for, I mean, they're expensive, but nowhere in the neighborhood of like Kickstop pieces or a full custom Shiro. You can get one of these, and I know 99% of the time you're going to be thoroughly stoked on how good it flips. So I hope you enjoyed the video. My top 5 flippers out of my collection as of like fall 2015. I'll do this again later on down the road if I come across pieces that can replace something here or add to it. But I appreciate you guys stopping in. If you have any questions about any of these knives, please leave a comment below. I'll try to answer it. And again, thanks for stopping and taking the time to watch the video. I will, I think next week I'm going to do something a little different, and I hope you guys enjoy it. But thanks again for stopping in. I hope you enjoyed this. Again, please comment. I will take time. I read every single comment, and I try to reply to every single comment. And I really appreciate you guys stopping in. See you on the next video. Take it easy.